Okay, so my student today is going to be Tori. She is a 26-year-old middle-class female. She is in that young adulthood stage of the learner. So in this stage, there is typically that hurry for success, wanting to be self-reliant, also the fast assimilation of information, and then typically the authoritative teaching style is not usually efficient. So it will be better to do more of that one-to-one kind of collaborative teaching approach, and then also allowing for a lot of independent practice for the student. So Tori values family time. That's important in her family to spend time together, whether it's just hanging out or doing an activity. And her grandma recently moved in with her, and one of her grandma's favorite hobbies is to crochet. So in order to spend more time with her grandmom and do something that they both can enjoy, she wants to learn how to crochet too. So I will be teaching crocheting today, and I will be teaching just 3 foundational stitches just to get started. So Tori already has that foundational knowledge of the names of the different stitches, and that the different stitches are different sizes used for different types of patterns. She just doesn't know how to distinguish between the 3 different ones. So we're going to be working on that today, and also how to make the 3 different stitches. So Tori has sufficient health literacy. She works in a healthcare company, actually working with medical documents all day and contacting doctor's offices frequently. And she will also be beginning nursing school soon. So her health literacy is sufficient. Okay, so the learning objectives for our student today are going to be that the student will distinguish between 3 different foundational stitches by the end of the session with 80% accuracy. And then also that the student will demonstrate the 3 different foundational stitches by the end of the session with 80% accuracy. So we will begin with just determining what are the 3 foundational stitches we're going to be doing today. Okay, so to begin, the material that you will need is yarn, of course. So we have some pretty big skeins of yarn in 2 different colors. I'm gonna be working with white, she has red. We have our crocheting hooks, and we also have some sample squares just to start off that comprehension of what are the different stitches and why are they different, how do they look different. So this is the first sample square, which is a single stitch. So you can see that it's very tight. It doesn't stretch that much, and you can see the rows are very thin because it's just that one small crochet. So then we can move on to the half double crochet, which is in between the single and the double. So the half double is just slightly larger than the single. You can see it's a little bit more stretchier. You have some more holes. You can kind of see through it a little bit more, but it's still pretty tiny. And you can see that the rows aren't that big. And then the double stitch is a little bit bigger. So you can see that that's a little bit more stretchy. The holes have gotten bigger, and that the rows look bigger too in comparison. So you can see this would be like 1 row of the single, this is 1 row of the half double, and this whole thing would be 1 row of the double. Okay, so in order to determine your understanding and comprehension of the different stitches, I'm gonna have you teach back to me which is which stitch and why.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one. So this is the single stitch.
Yes.
Because it is tight when you stretch.
Yep.
And you can see that it is 1 column. And then this is the half double. Because it did increase in size a little bit.
Right, the row's a little bit bigger, right?
A little stretchier. But you could still see that it's not quite the size as this one, which is the double. And you can see the difference in the length even. Where this looks like it is double columned, where this is not quite as large. And the stretchiness also
has increased. Right.
Right.
Awesome. Great job. Okay. So after just getting that foundational knowledge of what are the 3 stitches that we're going to do, what do they look like, why are they different, and then being able to determine that Tori can tell the difference between the 3 stitches and with the correct information of why they're different, So we can go ahead and move on to now attempting to start with that single stitch, move on to the half double, and then the double. Okay, so in order to start with the demonstration of how to do the single stitch, you first need to just know how to do a slip knot to put the string onto your hook to get started. So in order to do the slip knot, you're going to get the string. I usually hold it between my ring finger and my thumb, just to start out with. I twist it around my pointer in my middle. Then I just do a little twist like that. So you have like an X in the back. And then just like you would tie a balloon, you're just kind of gonna shimmy that loose string in between your fingers, and then holding your loop that you have right now, just kind of pull it up so that you kind of have this little A-ish shape. And then you can just pull the string to tighten it. This will be your slip knot. Okay, so let's have you try that.
Okay. So, holding the string between my ring and my thumb, looping around my index and my middle.
Perfect, yep.
Kind of shimmying that loose one between my fingers.
Yep, and I like to think of that as like tying a balloon, because that's how I tie a balloon.
Yep, and then pulling up.
Perfect. Awesome.
Create my slip knot.
And that is your slip knot. So that is the first step in crocheting. So you're already on your way. And then you can just insert your hook into the slip knot.
Okay.
And then you just pull it tight, leaving a little bit of space just so you're going to be able to still slide the hook, because you want to be able to slide it so that when you're doing your stitches you can slide it through. Okay, so in order to do the single, we're going to start with just making our foundational chain, and then we're going to do the single off of that. So usually when I hold the string, I loop it around my pinky, and then just loop it around my thumb, and just have some tension so that you kind of have it. So when you're gonna hook it, it's not just kind of flopping around, and it's gonna be hard to hook it. So again, that's just looping it around the pinky, and then that you can just leave loose because you're gonna wanna be able to pull it as you need more slack. And then just looping it around the thumb and keeping it kind of taut. And then I hold it with my middle and my thumb.
Okay. So looping around the pinky. Up over here, and then hold it like
and
this.
Then just hold, yep, and I hold it pretty close to the slip knot, just like you're doing, just so you have that stability. Okay, and then to start the chain, you're going to yarn over, which really means to go underneath of the string, kind of in this triangle that you've made with your fingers and the string. And then you just go up, so it's kind of just resting on there, it's not really on the hook. And then you're just going to hook it and pull it through that slip knot that you have.
So kind of come over and then pull down.
Right, yep, good. So then you're just gonna continue that. So you would do it again. So you would go back into that kind of triangle, go up, hook it, and then go through your new slip knot. Good. Okay, then again, down, up, and through the slip. Okay, good. You can do 4 more of those.
Okay.
Awesome. You're doing great. How's that feeling so far?
Pretty good.
And then as you're going up too, you can always move your fingers closer.
Okay.
Just to kind of keep it more stable so you're not struggling to get through the... Yep.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so you should have about 10 or so. Yep, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so then we can move on to doing the actual single crochet now that we have our foundational chains. So you're just getting yourself comfortable, making sure you have that kind of taut. And then if you're good to go, we can start. So you have your hook and your slip knot. You can see your slip knots coming out of this loop up top. and then you're looking for the loop that is underneath, which would be that one. So you're just going to go into that initial little hole that you see that you're holding with your nail. Okay. So you're going to slip the hook into that. You have the 2 loops now on your hook. So that's what we're going to pull through. So you're going to do your yarn over. So again, that's the down, up, hook, and then you're just going to slip it right through both of those loops. Perfect. Okay. So I'll do it again, and then the third time you can show me. Okay. All right. So you're just going right underneath of that, looking for that hole, slipping your hook through. You have 2 hoops. You're going to yarn over. So going down, up, hooking it, and then pulling it through the 2 hoops. And to help, you can hold that initial stitch that you made to try to get it to be like a little more stable so that you're not, fighting with the yarn.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so now you show me this one.
So then I would be going into the next hole down, which would be this one.
Right?
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so I will slide my hook through, and then I will slide my crochet hook up to yarn over.
Right.
And start to pull my hook down to slide through both of the holes.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Like that. And then you just continue that until you get to the end of your chain, and then I'll show you how to flip it, and we'll continue from there. Okay, and then once you get to the end of your first single crochet row, which we did, you're going to flip it. So you already flipped yours, good. So you just turn it around, and we're going to be crocheting the opposite way now. So you're just kind of, it's the same direction, but you're on the back side of that piece of yarn. So that just keeps it nice and organized so that you keep that nice shape that you're going for. So you just go ahead and hold your string in the same way. So around that pinky. Good, you got it, you remembered. And then you're going to be going into that first stitch. So it's going to get a little harder to see it now because you have so much more yarn. So just remember that you can follow where your hook is pulling that slip knot out of. So you kind of see where that's coming out of. You can see that your string is coming out of that hole. So it would be underneath here of it. So it would be here. So this is where your slip knot's in. So yes, that hole right there.
This one.
Yep. Okay, so we are just going down that row again to finish the second row of our single crochet. Okay, so Tori finished her second row of her single crochet. It's pretty good. So you can clearly see her first row and her bottom row. So you did a great job.
Thank you.
How are you feeling with it now? Is it getting like a little more comfortable, the motion?
Yeah, I feel like my fingers are adapting to the movement of the hook
a lot
weird.
Better. You're not used to doing that down, up, down, up.
And you can see that it's pretty tight, kind of like our example.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the half double then, which is going to be in between a single and a double. So what you want to do is you want to chain over first before going into that first one. So you're going to chain over. Okay. You can hold them if you want to keep them. I like to do that. Steady. Then go ahead into that first stitch, which you show me where it is. Good. Okay. Yep. And then you chain over again. Yep. Pull that through. You're going to be left with 3 hoops or loops on your hook. Okay. So once you pull that through, you can see you have your 3, right?
Yeah.
So then you're going to chain over again and pull through all 3 of them, and that's your half double stitch. Beautiful. So that's your first half double stitch. So to do it again, same thing, you're going to chain over first, go into your next stitch. Should you show me where it is? Yep. Okay. Go ahead in there, chain over again. Yep, readjust as needed.
And pull through. So now,
So now you have three. Good. Chain over and pull through all three. Good. Okay. All right. You show me this one.
Okay. So I have to chain over, and then I'm going to push into this one.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. And just kind of jam it through there. Okay.
Yeah, if they're tight, sometimes you gotta just kind of.
And now I chain over again and pull through the first one. So that now I have my 3 loops.
Yep.
And then I chain over again and pull it through all 3.
Perfect. Okay, so after completing your first row of your half double, we can go ahead and flip to do the second row. And again, we're just doing 2 rows of each just so you can really see the difference between those stitches. It's kind of hard to see when it's only just 1 row of them. So to flip it, remember, you just go ahead and chain 1 by yarning over and just pulling it through your slip knot that you're in. And then you can go ahead and flip your piece. Yep, awesome. Okay, so to do the other side of the half double, you're just doing the same thing. So let's see if you can tell me how to start it.
Okay, so since we're doing the half double, I have to yarn over first.
Yep.
And then pick the hole next to my slip knot and push through there.
Yep.
And then once I'm in there, I have to yarn over again and pull through the first little loop so that now I'll have 3 loops on my needle.
You got it.
And yarn over again and gracefully pull through all 3.
Perfect. And that's your first half double of that row. So we're gonna go ahead and continue that until we get to the end, then we'll flip again and we'll get started on the double. Okay, so Tori finished her last half double stitch. She did great. And we're going to go ahead and flip it so that we can start that last stitch that we're gonna learn, which is the double. So the only difference for getting ready to flip it for the double is instead of chaining 1 like we did for the half double, we're just gonna chain 2.
Okay.
Because the 2 is gonna be the first double stitch.
Okay.
So to chain 2, remember you just, yarn over, perfect. Pull through, that's 1 chain. And then yarn over, pull through, and that's your second chain. Yep, great. Okay, and then once you have your 2 chains, you can just flip it. And then we can go ahead and get started on the first double. So for the first double, you're gonna yarn over before you go into the stitch. So now you can go into the stitch, yarn over again. You have 3 loops, just like for the half double. Yep, you got it. And then just pull it through. So you have 3 loops again.
Okay.
The only difference is for the half double, remember we went through all 3. For the double, we're gonna do it double. So we're only gonna go through 2 and then 2.
Okay.
So you're gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 that are on your hook. You'll be left with 2. And then you just yarn over again and pull through the last 2 that are on your hook, and you have your double crochet. Yep, and just slide it through that last hoop. Yep, you got it.
Yep, I gotta go slow.
Perfect. And then you can see that that looks like that first pretend kind of double stitch that you do with the chain. So to do it again, you yarn over, go into your stitch. Yep, you found it. And then yarn over, pull through. You have 3. You're gonna yarn over, go through just the first 2. Perfect. You're left with 2. Yarn over. And go ahead and go through those last 2. And you just made your second double crochet. So how about for this one? You show me how to do it.
Okay. So I have to yarn over and then find my next hole, which would be here to push into. So I push through there, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through. So that I have 3 loops on my hook.
Perfect.
And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through only the first 2 loops.
Yep, you got it.
And then I'm left with 2 loops on my hook. So I yarn over again and pull through those 2.
Perfect, and that's the double crochet. Okay, so to do our last row of the double crochet, how do we start it off again?
So we have to build the chain to start off our row on. And it's a double chain because we're doing a double stitch.
Right.
Okay, so you yarn over and pull through your slip knot. And then you yarn over again and pull through again.
Remember, you can hold it closer too if that helps.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome.
So that's how we start.
And then what's next step?
The next step would be to yarn over.
We have to do first.
You have to flip.
Flip. Yep.
Because we're starting a new row. So then I would yarn over.
Yep.
And find my stitch to go into, which would be this one.
Yep.
Okay. Because you want to make sure you're not going in where your
slip knot is, because then you're kind of just not going to get a loop. You're going to just kind of like pull it out.
Right.
Yep, you got it.
So then,
awesome.
Yeah, okay, I was making sure I yarned over before sliding in.
Yep, so you yarn
do
over
that.
and
Then you yarn over again and pull through.
Yep.
And you have 3 loops. So I am going to want to yarn over again and pull through the first 2 loops.
Yep.
And then I'm left with 2 loops on my hook. So I yarn over again.
Yep.
And I will pull through those 2 loops.
And that's your double crochet. Okay. And then once you get to the end of your row, since that is the last stitch we're going to be doing today for our first initial practice square, which you did great on. So to end it, all you have to do is go ahead and cut off the part of the string that's still attached to your skein. So you cut that end. I'm going to leave usually like a little bit of room if you're going to stitch it in, but this is just a practice square, so we can just cut it really anywhere. So just go ahead and cut that off. Cool. And then to end it, all you have to do is just pull the string up. Yep. And then you can pull on it to tighten it. And it'll be kind of knotted in there so that it won't come undone. Perfect. And that's the end of your practice square. So you can show. Pretty good, right? Yep. Awesome. You did great.
Thanks for teaching me.
Oh, thanks for learning.